Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. The next Wasteless Word Talks are here with Bill, myself. Kevin is on, let's say, probably on holidays, but we have some secret guests today during the CARZOOM. Galina, nice to have you there. So, the term and the word today is key, something to unlock. So, and of course, my first question to you, Bill, if you close your eyes and you hear the term key, what came first to your mind, please?
My mind is slow this morning, so I'm going to turn this over to Galina, who has already come up with a half dozen.
So the first thought I had was key to my heart. Then the second thought was that keys open, but keys also close things.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thought was key point in a
Conversation.
I have to pay attention. Sorry.
So, how about that, huh? That's better than I could have done. A lot. Okay, the key point in a conversation.
And also, key means island in Spanish. So Key Largo is one of the islands in Florida.
Did you get that one?
Yes, yes.
In Spanish, key is island. Where Kevin is today?
He's on an island, so probably some small island in Denmark. So he probably knows what is coming. The noon discussion, of course, was very interesting this time. It was even more interesting than usually because, as I explained to you before, the people in the noon discussion, they know the term one day ahead. For 3 years, we did it this way.
Right.
But not today. Today was the first time we did it exactly the same way as we do it together with Kevin. So they learn it at the very beginning of the event. And at the end, when I ask whether they like it, 100% yes. So we will run it exactly the same way as we do it for 3 years already. And it was, as I said, very interesting because, again, different perspectives and all the time something new, something fascinating in a discussion.
Good. How was it different?
It was some of the members seems to be preparing for the word, so they look for definitions and similar. They cannot do it in this short time, and somehow it was more spontaneous, I will say. So it was more proactive.
Yes,
that was good.
Good. Okay. Is there an opposite to key?
Usually, I will say lock, but lock is not opposite. On the other hand, in some way it is, because one fits into the another. So,
right. Okay. Yes. And that word came to my mind also. Lock. So I'm not sure that opposite works with a noun. Does opposite only work with a verb? Or maybe an adjective. I don't know. We'll have to think about that. Kevin would know. He's better with language.
On the other hand, in English, there are many words which are connected. Keyboard, for example. So we don't have this in this relation. We don't have it in Czech. Klíč, in Czech we say klíč, and it is really a rather unique term.
Klíč means key?
Yes.
Key. What the word that Galina came up with first, the thought that she came up with was that she said the key to my heart, which she's not in the car right now, but this is so personal for her. for her to say the key to my heart, when she likes something or loves something or somebody, everything else is less. Everything else fades away. So that's very personal. That if you had said, "Who do you think said that?" I would say, "Well, Galina said that." Um, So key to my heart. The key part of the conversation is close to the same thing because she uh, she can go for the meaning of a conversation in 3 words. You know what I mean? She knows exactly what is the key to that whole conversation. She doesn't have to beat around the bush for a half an hour.
It's interesting. And do you think that we are living in keyless, or we are reaching a keyless society?
Oh boy, you're getting political. Remember, we promised not to
No, no,
get
no, 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 no,
political.
no. It's not about politics. It's about when you enter the hotel, you get card. When you entered,
Right.
I am asking because you know the term Velvet Revolution. That was the revolution in my
Yes.
country, which ended the communist time. And
Yes.
one of the symbols of this revolution was a pack of key, because the people who gathered in the demonstration, they don't have bells, so they use the keys, and they have a lot of keys on the ring, and they make noise with it. And for a long time, it was something like the symbol of the revolution. So a lot
Really?
of noise. Yes.
I never heard that. So
Mhm.
so if you would go and meet with people on the street to show support for this movement, people would
Yes,
jangle their keys.
exactly,
I
exactly.
never heard that.
And the young generation don't understand that because they
Yeah.
don't have keys anymore, or they have few.
Ah,
They have plastic
because
cards or chips
yes.
or whatever. So
Yes. Ah, how interesting. There are so many things that the kids today simply don't know. They're oblivious to the meanings and to the history. So, for example, my grandchildren who spent the weekend with us had a wonderful time. Um, their shoes do not have shoelaces. A shoelace is much like a key. It can open or it can close. But they have Velcro strips, so
yeah.
they fasten the Velcro strip. So they don't know how to tie that. But there's also many pairs of pants that have a like a shoestring, right? So you pull the pants up and you tie the same as you do your shoes,
Mm-hmm.
but they will not be able to wear those pants because they will not know how to tie that shoelace that's in their pants. Um, what else? Cursive writing. Excuse me. Do you know that
Yeah.
the word cursive? So when I went to first grade and second grade and third grade, they taught us both um, uh, the letters of the alphabet and how to write, but also how to write in cursive. And we could do both. And they don't teach cursive anymore. And some people are very upset because it's a kind of um, a stylized writing. It's beautiful. People who do good cursive writing, which I do not. Um, so so they don't teach it anymore. And how many other things do they not teach anymore? They do not teach how to sit down at the dining room table and have a conversation. They do teach how to text, uh, but that's that's different. I wonder words, how many words there are in the English language 50 years ago? How many words were used 50 years ago versus how many are used today when everybody uses texting and emojis and we don't talk anymore?
Bill,
Isn't that beautiful how we do that? You and I and and Kevin and Galina, we talk. But I think we're losing that skill.
generally, it's this talking, this conversation is a key to language generally, and we are losing this key. We switch it for flat.
Yes.
You know, until now, Jane, have to explain me the emoji meanings because every single one has a slightly different meaning. I do remember I received one set of emojis. I have no idea what the person would like to say to me. No idea at all. And then when it was explained to me, then I did understand that every single is like a block of letters or a word, that it was really a sentence, but it was just written in emojis. So I have no idea how to.
Oh, so I'm afraid that at some point in my life, I'm not an old man, but at some point in my life, I may not be able to communicate with younger people because they will talk in emojis or so I will just be quiet, but I won't be able to have this conversation on Wednesdays anymore because I can't send you an emoji. How do I send you an emoji?
And we are back to the keys generally, because when it is the key to language and we lose the key, what remains? Only the locks, and the locks will be locked. So,
Ooh, ooh, yes, yes.
you know, just few minutes before we started, I was preparing the Industry 5.0 newsletter, and 3,695 days after the launch, after I launched Industry 5.0, Siemens wrote an article about Industry 5.0 and how important it is. Siemens is equal to Industry 4.0. But it took them 3,695 or 96 days. I use Excel to calculate it, uh, to write the first article. To write the sentence, it is how the unavoidable or whatever. I posted it will be in the newsletter. And do you remember time to time in the last years I have mentioned the name of Robert Morris Smith, the British professor, which make every day a video, very interesting about energy and how to create tools. Unfortunately, yesterday reached me a very sad news. 1.5 years after his wife left, he committed suicide.
Oh,
He was 63,
oh, I'm
and
so sorry.
he was. I cannot say he was a friend of mine, but we communicate time to time, and he was a very friendly man. And speaking about the key, I think that what Gaina mentioned at the beginning, the key to the heart, is one of the keys. When you lose it, you half of you is dying, I will say.
Yes, yes. Isn't that interesting? Ah, that's, yeah, I have, and I suspect that you have too, lived through periods of your life that where the key to your heart is missing. And you don't, you don't say, gosh, that's gone. But in the back of your mind or in the back of your heart, you know, you know that the key to your heart, you know that something is missing. So, and then when you find it again, you say, wow, wow, I never, I didn't realize that I was missing something important. So that is good That is good to realize. That may be the most important thing about this discussion, is to realize how important the key to your heart is. Ha! We have to thank Galina. Thank you.
That's right. And I think I have to thank Jane. And, I am just now preparing a keynote. It will be a long one, probably 1 hour, leadership, Industry 5.0 leadership. And it's quite interesting. I was just digging, for example, for leaders which nobody knows. Do you know the name of the guy who invented the soft contact lenses? Very few people know.
No.
It's a Czech guy. Otto Wichtel. Then there is a John Langdon Down, 18 whatever. He not invented, but he described the Down syndrome, and he has the Down syndrome. He was doctor, so we can imagine how difficult for him was to be accepted to become a doctor and to be able to describe his, I will not call it illness, but the way how he see the world. And there are so many people. And I have there Charito, for example, from the noon discussions and so on. So many people. And I was asking during the noon discussion, is there a key to every heart? I mean, one key to everyone. What it will be? I don't think it's money. Money is whatever. It's not key for me. What it will be? The one which everyone will understood. Because that will be the key.
Something like love,
Yeah.
something like appreciation, something like acceptance.
I think something like that will be. And as you explained, Galina really take it in 3 words at the beginning. That was so fascinating that I have to come back, because if you picture a heart and a key, I think most of the people will understand what does it mean. And for me, this image is the image of how we enter the wasteless world. We use the key to the heart of people.
Yes. I just want to share with you that we had dinner last night with our children and our grandchildren, and the grandchildren are ages 9, 7, and 3.5. And the 3.5-year-old said to me that she has to eat the last food on her plate, or else it will be, are you ready? A waste. She used the word. And she used it in the proper context. And a 3.5-year-old, and there are grown-up people who do not know the meaning of the word.
Did you notice in the last month or year generally how many new inventions are introduced by children or very young people? Soap against cancer, skin cancer. Special plastic which would dissolve in whatever. So a lot of inventions which are associated currently with young people who are at school usually. And I'm asking myself, so when an African school kid developed a soap which really works against skin cancer, where all these billions has been invested? Of course, I don't say that it will reach the market. He won some prize and so on, and I'm very sure this invention will be covered, because there are people who prefer to produce every day a new pill for you to take because it will not help at all, but you will buy it. But it is so interesting, and I think that the image of your granddaughter with her words will be great big cover of the Wasteless Workbook.
Oh, and what does that mean for the future if young people are understanding these words and are inventing these things that scientists and older grown-up people are overlooking? That means that's a great realization. I did not realize that. But as you mentioned, the soap and the other inventions, how to get water out of the air and so on, all by young kids in countries, in Africa, for example. Um, isn't that a wonderful um understanding of what the world will be in the future, in 10 years or in 50 years, um, if in fact young people are able to follow their thoughts and not simply repeat what grown-ups tell them to repeat. That's great. I didn't realize that. Thank you for pointing that out.
It is very important, and you know how much time we spend talking about education and the change of the system itself. Uh, I see it every day how the professors generate they like, and you know, I will say I do understand when someone in academia world does not know my name. I am not in the academic world, so just Google whatever, LinkedIn, and so on. But when people who know about me and they are in such a positions do it intentionally, I will call it crime because it's intentionally damaging the future of the kids and the brains in somehow in influencing them to waste or to do something which is that's exactly the Siemens story. I contacted them many times.
Okay. You frozen?
Is it better now? Let's see if it will work. Somehow it does not work, but the recording is going on. So we will see whether Bill and we will be able to talk. Is it back?
Yes, you are back. Okay.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you were saying is that when we listen only to the professors and the teachers who are teaching us what they learned 50 years ago, then we are forcing them to think only what the thoughts that we thought 50 years ago, and not to look around them and say, why not? What what is why has nobody asked this question? And that's because we don't want them to ask questions. We are still teaching the way that we taught ago or 100 years ago, and yet the questions are new. These are new questions.
And they must accept it. They must accept that somebody much younger can come and know something better than they do. And I think this is the biggest issue. We discuss air and own company. We have elections over weekend. The one party which generally was in a power in the last elections failed. So this is the pre-last and so on. So it's again, and I have to repeat again because people ask me whom I voted and so on, and I said it doesn't matter. because the system is broken. It doesn't matter whether the name of the person is whoever, John, whatever. It is not the other person. The person just utilized the system, but the system is wrong. And as I prepare for the leadership, I have their sentence that not a single politician is a leader. And not a single leader needs politics to lead others.
Yeah. Oh, that is so true. That is so true. And you are such a good example of exactly that. You are not a politician, and yet people listen to you, and people around the world listen to you, and people take their inspiration and their thoughts about waste or um, about leadership, and they get their inspiration from you, and yet nobody ever voted for you. I never voted for you.
And nobody will, because I do not want to go to politics. So on the other hand, if I will, the party who won the election here, it's called Yes in Czech, Anos, three letters, A and O, and it means yes. Looking back to the history, the same name in Italian, C, has Benito Mussolini. So we know what happened.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yes,
oh.
Yes. So it's called ANO. And I said, okay, so if there should be the real opposition, it must be named No. In Czech, it's NE, which means no elites. We are no elites. And I have even thought about the program, and I have just two very basic things which I would like to push through. When you are a politician in my country, you get automatically political immunity. I don't know whether it is in US. You are immune. If you make something wrong, you are immune.
That's sort of we are arguing that a version of that now in America, whether or not there's any limits on what you say or what you push through, and that's when you just said that. Now it really it reverberates with me and what we're in the middle of now, having this immunity. It's okay to say whatever you want to say, which is so stupid. That's so stupid. That means you have no accountability.
And exactly that is the second what I would like to propose. Personal accountability. You will have an election promise. Okay, you have 3 months to start to fulfill it. You are not able, you do no steps, you go out of the politics.
Right.
It will look very different, but what is wrong is the system, because the people who are responsible for the system, they utilize it, they misuse the system for their own profit. So they will never vote for this type of changes. But these changes are really needed. So, and I think these changes will be key to.
So that's just the word I was thinking of. That change will be key to our future.
Yes. And it's just about the understanding. And, there are few politicians, but there are 8 billion people. So who have more power? It's just, I like the way how the Canadian answer to the US tariffs in the first wave. They simply do not buy US goods in Canadian stores. So simple it was. And immediately there was impact. John Kimmel, or what is his name, was fired, and people start to cancel Disney or which channel, I don't know where he was. And he was restored. That was so interesting. It was well shown what is the power of the people. And we are frozen again, so yes.
Yes.
So interesting. The key is really, really interesting. And I know you are driving right now. Galina is driving. Do you have a keyless car?
We have a push button, and in that push button is a key so that if the battery doesn't work, you can still get into the car.
I see. Because I have not the oldest one, but I have still a key which I just eject from this whatever it is. But when we have no keys, do we need locks?
Oh, no keys. Do you need locks? I think the answer is yes. It's just not the traditional lock that is unlocked with a mechanical key, but a lock is protection. What is a lock? A lock is
Something forever.
lock something up forever.
That's it.
No key. If you have a lock that has no key, then you're locking something up forever. That's what Galina says. I I am I am a cynical person. I believe that there are people who will steal from you. So I believe that you need a lock. And if you have a lock, you need a key. Unless you are locking up something that you don't want to be opened for years or generations, like a time capsule. But even time capsules are opened sometime.
We just have one open in my country. It was from the very first a president, which is here behind me of my country, Thomas Garrick Masaryk, and he logged his last will into a time lock, and he said it should be open 100 years after his death, which was 14 days ago or so, something like that. Everybody was expecting it was a big event, so the president was there and the scientists and so on. But he did not say anything special. There was nothing special. There was such just an ordinary words of a man who knows he is dying, and he just speak about this. So after that opening, there was a lot of questions. People are asking why didn't they check it before and so on. You know, it's quite interesting. And what I think that if there will be no keys and there will be no locks, means even if someone will steal something from you, he or she will still put it somewhere where everybody can access or what. I just come back to one of my discussion from the talks about nothing. There was a manager who lived for a long time in Denmark. And she said that one of the biggest surprise for her was that the people do not lock their homes. They simply don't lock it. And she said it was so unusual because in Czech we lock everything. So we have 3 locks and still the driving wheel, we lock the driving wheel additionally to the lock and so on. So she said it was very unusual. And she get to used to it and she used to it. Unfortunately, I didn't spoke with her whether she keep the same in Czech Republic because she returned last year, and I have to ask her whether she feels the same safe, and I don't.
Isn't that interesting? So I thought there's something I needed to tell you um, on the book that we're working on, Our Wasteless World. And we received a notification from a young person who was on your show 6 months ago. Her name is Paloma,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
she has agreed to provide a generational um, discussion about waste
Mhm.
for the book, and she has sent it in, and it is so fascinating because someone of my generation looks at waste so differently in one way, and she looks at waste um, sometimes in the same way, but in very different ways also. And so she has agreed to contribute to the book. And so I just want to let you know that that was a big thumbs up. So I didn't mean to get off the subject of the key, but part of the key of understanding is listening to my 3.5-year-old granddaughter and how she looks at something like waste, or Paloma, who is probably in her 20s, early 30s, and the way that she looks at waste, and it's very different. And it's very, why is it different? If I want to know what waste is, I'll go to the dictionary, I'll look up the meaning, and now I'll know the meaning of, but that's not it. But that's not it. The key is that there are many different understandings of words, like what we're talking about right now, key, but also of words like waste, very different. And and it's not the opposite, and it doesn't make you throw away or discard your previous understanding, but it gives you a more full understanding. And so I was very pleased to have this contribution from Paloma, um, from a young person, and from my granddaughter, an even younger person.
You know, it's
And
quite
it
sorry. It is very interesting, and I just wonder uh, whether books needs key. Does a book need key? I was just preparing the keynote for about leadership, and I checked 4 definitions of leader. Google, Oxford, no, Cambridge Dictionary, and 2 AI machines. What was interesting, not a single one mentioned doer, that you firstly as a leader should be the first who do something. No, nothing like that was mentioned. And we have 1.5 minutes left. So it was once again great conversation with both of you. And you know, we can influence a lot of not the length of the time given to us by Zoom, but what I know and what I like, that YouTube is somehow lockless. You can access it from almost everywhere in the world, and you don't need key to understand. So thank you very much for this conversation. Have a nice time free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe, be free, be human, and be the key to the better future. Because it's the key to the heart of the future. Thank you, Galina. Thank you, Will. Bye.